All right, I am now joined by a very special guest. It is Tampa Bay Rays organization pitcher Paul Gervase. Paul, it's great to see you. Thanks for hopping on and talking ball for a little bit. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, man? It's happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So we talked about this a second ago, but like growing up, North Carolina kid, even like a Research Triangle area kid, playing for the Durham Bulls now, like that's got to be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's really cool. I grew up going to the games and going with my brother, my dad, and watching baseball there all the time. And then just playing around here. And now all my family gets to come to the games. I had like 30 people come to our home opener when I got to throw, so it was pretty cool. It's cool playing at home.
Do you have like scheduled days where you think you're going to pitch? Does that align with like trying to get everybody out there?
Yeah, I usually have like a decent idea. I mean, obviously it's never guaranteed when you're coming out of the bullpen, but I usually have like kind of an idea and if I'm going to throw or not, and then it's kind of roulette. So if you want to come, I might pitch, I might not, but you can still come and have a good time at the game. So
Love that. So North Carolina kid, did you have a favorite area college when you were growing up?
yeah, I grew up a North Carolina fan. My mom went to North Carolina, so I always grew up rooting for North Carolina. So yeah, they didn't recruit me, but it was it was cool. I grew up rooting for them though.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask about that. Like coming out of high school, like was there a school you had your eye on that like you were keeping out, like all right, keeping out hope for? Like what was that process like when you graduated high school?
Yeah, I had a lot of eyes on them. None of them had eyes on me. I wasn't very good, or I wouldn't say I wasn't very good, but I wasn't really a prospect in high school. I didn't throw very hard, so I finally got recruited by a Division III school called Pfeiffer University, and like after my season ended, my senior year, like I thought I was done playing baseball, and they were like, "Hey, you want to play?" And I was like, "Yes, sounds good." So I went over there and then to a lot of other places.
So wait, what was the timeline like for that? So you graduated high school and all your friends probably had spots and offers and stuff, and it took a little bit in between.
Yeah, I finished my senior year baseball season probably early May because we weren't very good. We got beaten in the first round of the playoffs, and I finished playing. I didn't really have any prospects. So I was like, all right, community college, time to just go into life. And didn't I wanted to play in college, but I wasn't very good. I didn't really work hard enough. And once they called me probably end of May, like right before I graduated, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come play baseball here?" And I went over there, checked it out on a visit, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. I get to keep playing baseball. Fine, sounds good to me." So then I went there. That was the timeline on my incredibly excruciating recruiting journey out of high school.
Wow. So I know like in your bio and stuff, you're a D3 walk on, but I'm pretty sure like D3, I think there's no like scholarships. So
Yeah,
like
so
that's
you're one of the people that actually gets that. See, it looks
yeah.
way cooler when it's in the you throw it in the Instagram bio. I was like, wow, you're a walk on. Like, yeah, me and everyone else on the team. But yeah, it was cool. It's I always throw that up there. It's kind of hilarious. My buddies that I played with will tease me about it, but it's fun.
So I mean like guys who have gone and played in D3 have made it to the show. Like I know like Josh Fleming, former Ray, he was a D3 guy out in Missouri. And I love talking to him about his experience because it was just so gritty, like like the fundraising, he like had to buy his own sweatshirts and stuff. What were some of like the not glamorous parts of your D3 college ball experience?
Well, I mean, you get like 30 practice days in the fall, so you're basically doing everything on your own in the fall, and then like you said, dude, I'm sending out emails to family members like, hey, donate to this link for my team so we can not stay in a Motel 6 when we go on the road. Like, it's like you're basically fundraising for your own team, and you're like you said, you're buying your sweatshirts and cleats and all that stuff, and taking out student loans and doing whatever you can to keep playing baseball. So yeah, it's not glamorous at all. I was grateful I got at the end of my college career, I got to live the glamorous college life, but Division III junior college, you're fundraising for yourself. You're pretty much paying your own way. Thankfully, my parents helped me a lot with that. But yeah, it's a grind for sure.
Yeah. So like was the dream when you're playing D3 ball to still eventually get drafted and go pro? Like I said, it's not impossible, but like what were those internal conversations like?
Yeah, the dream was definitely once I got to college, I was like, wow, I mean, I'm gonna get drafted for sure. Like I didn't even really look in the mirror. I thought I was like, yeah, I'll just be good enough. It's like I actually have to do something to get better. So that first year I played, I was pretty average, throw like 85, 86 9-hour fastballs, got shelled sometimes. Sometimes I got lucky and pitched good, but didn't really have any plan of where I would go after hitters. I'd just throw it. I was more of a thrower than anything else, a thrower that didn't throw hard. So it's not very effective. And so that summer, I'd like talked to my dad, and he was like, "Yeah, hey, dude, this isn't cheap. Like this going to school here. Like if you're just gonna mail it in and hang out all summer, then I'm not gonna pay obviously however many $1,000 a year it is to go to this school. So we're gonna start working out more seriously, taking your throwing more seriously, and then honestly trying to get better. So back here at home, there's this giant hill in my neighborhood, and I would run up it 10 times in the morning and 10 times at night every day for that entire summer. And I started going, not started, but more consistently going to this biomechanics instructor named Brandon Young, and just kind of refining my mechanics and my throwing and my move. And I jumped up in velo. I went from like 85 to 92 that summer, and I was like, "Whoa, this is way more fun than not pitching, like pitching slow and getting hit all the time." So, and then I went back to Pfeiffer for the fall, and I was set up to probably be one of the better guys that year, but like I said, it's a lot harder to get drafted out of Division 3 than it is Division 1, right? So I was thinking the best way to get to Division 1 is to go to junior college first and then take that route. So yeah, we decided that junior college would be the better move. I have a lot of love for the people at Pfeiffer. They gave me an opportunity, but I felt like this was a better move for me. And then after that, I transferred to Wake Tech, which is in Raleigh, and I went there for like a month, and then COVID hit, and I was like, all right, no offers. Guess we're done with baseball again because I couldn't throw the ball over the plate for a month. And COVID hit, and they were like, "Hey, you get an extra year of eligibility," and I was like, "Oh, sweet, that's cool." And then so that whole COVID off season, it pretty much did the same thing, running the hill and just working on my arm and my body and moving. And I was back at Wake Tech for the fall, and I asked your coach, I was like, "Hey, like, are we gonna have a season like with the funding and COVID and everything?" He was like, "Oh, I can't guarantee it." I was like, "Well, then I'm gonna transfer because I don't want to not play if we don't have a season." He was like, "Yeah, that makes sense. I understand." So I was talking to a couple of my buddies that played in Greenville, and I went to Pitt Community College, and that was kind of like where everything came together. And I had confidence, kind of got confidence, and was throwing really hard, and felt like I just dominated the zone. Is kind of what I was trying to tell myself. And then I started filling it up, and I obviously had a career year in LSU. I sent emails to like 200 Division 1 schools, and 16 of them responded, and LSU was one of them. So that was pretty cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's I talk about the roller coaster again, going back from high school to the first D3 to D3 to like that's a lot of up and down. Were you able to stay kind of level throughout all of that?
Dude, I was just happy to be playing baseball for the first half of it. I was like, oh, I'm still gonna play baseball. And then, like I said, once me and my dad had that conversation, it was like, all right, you want to play baseball or do you want to be really good and make it your job? So I was like, all right, well, let's get after it a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I was always just like, I think I was like, thought that it was magically going to happen to me that I was just, oh yeah, I played baseball as a kid growing up. I'm just going to get to the big leagues. So I'm good. Yeah. But I was never really good until I got to junior college, that second junior college. And I was just like, all right, like now it's time to turn it on. Like I'd have like area scouts coming to our practices, and my teams would be like, what are these guys doing here? And then I would pitch good and they'd be like, oh, okay. And then I think I hit 97, like my third outing of that season, and like punch out the side. And that's when my phone kind of started blowing up and people were starting to recruit me. And I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Were you still growing throughout all of that? Because I know you're a tall guy now, but like, were you always like, or was it just like a big spurt that happened?
Yeah, so I was 6 foot my sophomore year of high school, and then I was 6'4" my junior year, 6'7" my senior year when I graduated, and then my first 3 years of college, I grew an inch each year. So yeah, I was still growing. Still,
Did does
yeah.
like normal advice that like guys give to pitcher and like normal pitching stuff does it not always apply to guys who are your size? Is there like certain things that like tall people have to work on that are different?
Yeah, for sure. Like obviously, like shorter guys are they can be quicker to the plate. They don't have a lot of movement. So like for me, I gotta be more concentrated on like holding on runners and like not taking 2.5 seconds to throw the ball to the plate so they can steal every time. So I had to work on that a lot. And then also just like moving efficiently is a little bit more difficult for bigger guys. Like, well, my brother's the same height as me. So we kind of have to like learn that together. So it's like you want to make sure you're taking the most efficient way down the mountain, where if you're short, you can get down there pretty quickly regardless because you have a lot less levers moving.
Was there a moment where like you something clicked where you're like the velocity's there? I know I can rip it harder now.
Yeah, it was definitely right before I got, not right before, like right when I got to junior college. Like my first outing was like okay, and my coach was basically came up to me. He's like, "Dude, you're 6'10, you throw 95 miles an hour. Like throw with some conviction. Like get after it. Like have the mentality that you're better than all these guys because obviously these scouts aren't. They're not here to watch other people. Like they're here to watch you. So get out there and prove that you can do it." And that, like I said, that next outing, I got up to 97 and punched out the side. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's do this. Let's just go after these guys because they can't hit me. And it was, yeah. So I would say that's when it clicked.
When did you start learning about like extension? Because I that's still like I've been watching baseball all my life, and I'm still learning about like guys like Glass now. Like their fastball is 95, but his extension's so long it makes it seem like it's almost 100. When
Yeah.
did you kind of learn about that and realize that that's a weapon?
I kind of learned about it, I would say, at LSU once I got there because I couldn't land a breaking ball to save my life at LSU. And I was throwing fastballs like 95% of the time. And I was throwing like 94 to 96 probably. But like if you know a fastball's coming, normally, most of the time you can hit it. But they weren't hitting it. And I was like talking to my pitching guy, I was like, dude, like they know what's coming. Like, why are these guys not hitting? He's like, well, your 94 looks like 102. He's like, well, it just plays up like these guys. It, it feels like the hitters that I've faced that I've like kind of talked to about it. They said it feels like you're placing the ball in the glove. Like, and they just have way less reaction time. He says it's like you're throwing from a little league now. I was like, all right, well, that's pretty cool. And so, yeah, so I don't know how I do it. I just throw, and I guess obviously having long strides and being taller probably helps me get down the mountain more.
Did you find that that lower three quarters arm slot was that just the most natural, or were you over the top at some point?
I was over the top in high school and freshman year of college. So I was over the top and throwing doubles and homers basically. And when I went to the biomechanics guy, Brandon, he was just like, "Hey, let's drop your slot a little bit, try to move a little more efficiently, and see if we can get a little more velocity from there." And it just kind of came a lot more naturally. And my arm has always been healthy, thank God. I've been blessed by that, and so I just kind of stuck with it.
It makes sense. Because like when you're straight over the top, even you are obviously being 6'10 and the mound being tall, like in my mind, like, okay, well, that makes more sense because it makes it seem like you're 15 feet tall throwing the ball. But yeah, your body's natural arm motion is more of a sling kind of lower thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. The like most efficient way to like the most like healthy arm slot is the low three-quarter slot. Like that's the most natural movement for the human body. Like coming up here, like I can barely even do it. It's like a lot more stress on your shoulder, and then when you go lower than that, it's more stress on your elbow. So it's that's the way they explained it to me. I trust them. They've done some pretty good research, it seems. So that's just the way I was told. So, and I've never had arm injuries in my life, and I don't plan on it. So yeah, so it's working for me. I like it, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So you mentioned LSU and you mentioned like emailing them to get their attention. What first of all, what did you have to put in email to have them like get or have get on their radar? And then what was that feeling like when you checked your Gmail and you saw that thing pop in there?
Dude, I can read it to you. Let me pull it up. I'll read you exactly what I told
This might be a frameable email if it isn't already.
him. It might be. There it is. Fall 2021 prospect. That is what I emailed him. That was the subject line. I said, "Hello, Coach Dunn." He was the pitching coach at LSU. "My name is Paul Gervase. I am a 6'10", 230-pound redshirt sophomore, currently playing at Pitt Community College in Greenville, North Carolina. I spent my first 3 semesters at Division III Pfeiffer University, and I just recently transferred to Pitt for my sophomore spring season. I recently topped out at 97 on my fastball this spring, while also featuring a slider, changeup, and forkball, and I did not throw any of those. And I attended Harnett Central High School, where I graduated with honors and a 3.9 GPA. I would love to be able to continue my academic and athletic career at LSU starting next fall. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you soon." And then I attached like a bunch of video of me throwing. And then when he responded, I like flipped out. I was like, "There's no way he just responded." He's just like, "Paul, I'll try to give you a call late tomorrow if you're free." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm free. Let me know." But yeah, that was the exact email they sent out to like 200 different schools.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty.
wait, you don't throw a forkball?
No, but it sounded cooler when I was explaining everything. I'm trying to get recruited over here, so they just look at the numbers and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense." So,
That's such a good email because you like academic journey. You want to continue that. Like you hit on all the key points. Like that's a hell of an email.
yeah, it is. It was. My dad helped me go over. We kind of like made everything that would like sound good, and while also highlighting like what I do well. So
So how many emails did you send and how many responses back did you get?
like 200, and I got 16 responses.
Out of the 16, were any as enticing as LSU, or was that like the crown jewel of them all?
LSU was definitely the crown jewel of them all. I consider. I mean, I think if anyone else would have talked to me, I think LSU is still. I mean, I'm biased now, but I think they're the best program in college baseball. But Oregon State was my number two. I was going to go there if I didn't go to LSU. They responded, and then I think number three was like Georgia Southern or something like that. Like, yeah, not a lot of power schools. I had zero Division I offers from North Carolina schools, which was kind of wild to me. But it's like whatever. I'll go to LSU. This will be sick.
So what did you have to do in your last like year playing ball before LSU to have them? Because obviously the email is fantastic, but the video you attached and the numbers and stuff they look at, like what stood out for them?
I mean, I punched out the world. I didn't really walk anybody. I think I had 21 innings, I had 35 punch outs and seven walks, and I had like a 1.4 ERA. So I threw really well, and I was a reliever in junior college too. Most JUCO guys that get recruited by schools like LSU are starters, and I don't know. I just didn't play unless we were winning, which was kind of an interesting strategy to me. But yeah, I was a reliever, and when I got in there, I really threw the ball well. So I guess that was it. And obviously, being 6'10" probably helped too.
Yeah, I think that was at the beginning of your thing there. Yeah, I would always lead with that.
Yeah,
That's such an awesome because how often did you get growing up like, oh, the basketball player,
oh,
Paul?
I still get that. I still get that all the time. Like I'll be like at a minor leagues. Like we were in Buffalo last week, like in a AAA game. They're like, "You should be playing basketball." I'm like, dude, I'm in AAA. Like playing baseball. I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
I'm a call away from the show, man.
I like, and I'm like, all right, well, I appreciate it, dude. Yes, I'll sign your ball. Sounds good.
Do you ever just like lean into it or play along with it? They're like, oh, you must be a basketball player. Like, yeah, actually, yeah, I'm power forward.
Yeah.
Play for the.
Yeah, I like play games. My little brother's a basketball player. He's in high school, so he's he's really good. He's gonna be a good player. But yeah, sometimes I'll just be like, yeah, play
Sure.
basketball. Sure. Yeah, whatever you want to hear, dude.
Exactly. Take me through the first time you got to LSU. You're walking around. I've seen like the inside of their clubhouse. It looks like a rocket ship in there. Like, what was your reaction when you're going from a JUCO to LSU?
It was crazy. So I didn't go on a visit because it was 2021 because it was like through COVID, so they weren't doing visits. I recruited on the phone call where I got offered. I was like, yeah, I'm coming. So when they gave me like the tour of the facilities and everything, when I first got, it was like right after I moved in, like it was in August, and I kind of went around and saw everything, and I was like this has got to be what the big leagues is like because this is unreal. And like I mean, I still go back there and train now. It's just seeing everything and like you said, it's like a rocket ship. Like everything's brand new. We have this meeting room with all the trophies in there, and the weight baseball has their own weight room. Like how many colleges have like a weight room where just the baseball team works out? Not many. Some, but not many. They're probably all in the SEC. But like I got there and I was like, this is insane. And I was at D3 and JUCO for the last 3 years, and I'm like, this is like another planet. But dude, I loved it. The key was to like not make it bigger than it is and still treat it as baseball, which I figured out how to do.
It's a good mindset. Yeah, you definitely weren't having to buy your own hoodies and like share a weight room with like
No,
the
they
tennis
gave us
team.
a lot of stuff. Nike Christmas first day, it was crazy. We got so much stuff. It was
How much of
unreal.
that do you still wear around now? Can we still see you running around in like an LSU like pair of shorts now?
You could, but like my teammates will make fun of me if I do that, so which is kind of annoying. But so I try not to wear it all the time. I give a lot of it to my dad, and I give it to like friends and stuff. But I mean, I have so much stuff. You see me wearing it all the time. Probably, I still use my travel bag that I used. So yeah, you get made fun of by your teammates, like the guys that are like, I drive out. Oh, you went to LSU? Like, wow, cool, got it.
Yeah, I
But
would be proud of it, man. That's a huge accomplishment.
I'm very proud. I still wear this stuff all the time. my travel sweatpants, purple sweatpants. Those are mine.
My purple sweatpants. I think that's
Yeah.
what's so cool about like your story is like nothing was handed to you. You had to work your ass off for everything. Like you proved that like a kid from a small town in rural North Carolina can like work his way up, go to LSU, get drafted, and have all the success. So I think that's an awesome thing, man.
I appreciate it, man. It was definitely wasn't easy, and we're not there yet. We're not done yet, but yeah, it's been fun. It's fun. Playing well is a lot, and being good is a lot more fun than being average.
How'd you start closing games for them?
Yeah. So when I got there in February, or not February, but like after the fall, like I didn't know. I knew I was going to be a reliever because like I didn't even start in junior college. So the first couple weeks I pitched pretty well, and then we went to Houston for this tournament, and I pitched pretty good. And then we went. Where did I start closing? We went to A&M, and I didn't pitch that good against A&M. Oh, we went to Mississippi State on the road, and they were like the reigning national champions, and we were like 2-4 in the league or something, or like 3-3 or something like that. And the first game we were losing in the ninth inning, and we came back and took the lead. And like I was like the last reliever, like left that hadn't like of the guys that usually would pitch in conference weekends, and I closed it out. Got to save like 1, 2, 3, and then the next day we played them again, and we were up one. And I came in the eighth inning, and I got 2 outs, and then I punched out the side in the ninth, and we won by one. And so I got back-to-back saves at Mississippi State, and then the rest of the year I just pretty much threw the ninth inning. He was like, "All right, you're gonna do this," because then we swept Mississippi State, and then we kept playing good. Got to close out a lot of games. Just dude, being the closer is so sick. Like every time when I'm closing out a game, you got the whole 13,000 people standing there screaming, clapping, and you punch out the guy, and the crowd just goes crazy, and you win. It was so much fun.
It's
But
like
yeah,
closers and field goal kickers. It's like all the eyes and all the pressures on you. Did you enjoy that?
yes, I loved it. I still love it. I like throwing late in games. It's like I always try to like the 3 outs that you get in the fourth inning are not the same as the 3 outs you get in the ninth inning. Like in the ninth inning, they're doing everything they possibly can to score a run or tie the game or whatever. And you gotta kind of be built for those moments. And I kind of pride myself in being like mentally focused and able to shut down the game in those moments.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about when you got to Tampa because I know a lot of Rays people. I know your buddy Evan Reifert was on here too,
Yeah,
so love that guy.
he's awesome.
Um, when you got to Tampa, especially in the spring training, was there like a Spider-Man meme moment where it was you, Joe Boyle, and Pete Fairbanks, where you're just like, man, we are all super tall.
Yeah, I get called every time, everywhere we go now. I get Joe, come sign this. I'm like, yeah, that's not me, but he's yeah. So Pete was really cool to me. My first live ABs in big league camp, I threw the ball pretty well, and he came up to me. He was like, "Hey man, great job yesterday." I was like, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate it." So yeah, he was cool to me. And then Joe's the man. Joe is in Durham. He actually just went up the other day,
Yep.
but I played with him a little bit this year, and he's a really good dude too. So yeah, it's like there's a lot of big pitchers with the Rays. So and it's cool to kind of just pick everybody's brain and take from each guy like what they do well. Like I throw with Reifert every day. Reifert's my throwing partner, and he's got one of the best sliders I've ever seen in my life. And I pick his brain about that all the time. So just like being around great pitchers is always good for me because it's like, all right, we can all teach each other things and succeed together.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that too because I know all the pitchers I've had on here, they always have had stories of like I sat in the bullpen with this insert legend here, watching him like prepare and his process, and just you get a lot from observing and talking to guys, especially I feel like in a bullpen setting. So you mentioned Evan Reifert's slider. Was anything else from like this past spring training or even years prior that you're like I'm taking some of this, I'm learning some of that? Like what was that about?
I think the first time in pro ball I had like that was I was backing up spring training games with the Mets. I wasn't in big league camp, but I was backing up games. And Ottavino was in the bullpen. He's got like 15 years in the big leagues, and I was like, just sit here and be quiet and mind your own business. And he's like talking about how he uses the pitch comm on his glove, not yeah, the pitch comm. So he like will like press the buttons to like tell the catcher what he's gonna throw. And I was like asking him about that, and he's like, "Well, like I have this whole routine of like how I attack each and every hitter, and like just going through his whole game plan of like from when he goes into the game to when he comes out." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like people would probably pay a lot of money to be sitting right here and listen to this guy talk about this. So that was really cool. And then this year, not even not even just listening to people, but like watching Edwin Usay to Pete Fairbanks, like all those guys, Kevin Kelly, Mason Montgomery, like how they go about preparing and going into these, even if it's a spring training game, and go out there and just dominate. And they keep it the same every time. And you won't be able to read on their face if they gave up 2 homers or if they struck out the side. Just keep everything the same way. So I think just learning from those guys, the guys that have been in the big leagues that are doing basically what I want to do is, I mean, that's one of the best parts about spring training.
That's the best. I'm such a Joe Boyle fan because like yeah, he carved up the Braves the other day
Yeah.
in his like 2025 debut.
Mhm.
When you watch him, obviously dude throws gas, but like is there anything else you like about his game that you're like this is going to be an awesome pitcher?
Yeah, just his demeanor, the way he carries himself is really impressive. Last year he struggled a lot with command and walks, like I did kind of at the beginning of the year before I got to the Rays. And when he got traded in the offseason, I saw him in spring training. I was like, dude, the Rays, it's a magnet zone. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, people come to the Rays and you throw a lot of strikes. Like I don't know what happens. It happened to me. I started throwing a bunch of strikes. It's gonna happen to you. And like his first, second, third outing, he's dominating. He's like, dude, you're right. Like this is insane. Like it's like I'm just filling it up. I'm like, dude, it's crazy. But he's the way he carries himself is so professional, and you would never. I mean, you can tell. Like obviously he's a big guy. He throws really hard, but his pitch ability is also really impressive. He can land breaking balls when he's behind the count and stuff like that. I think that part is really impressive. Away from the obvious, he's big and he throws really hard.
He's got a splinker now too. So
It's so good too. It's kind of like Skeen's splinker. So it's like yeah, it's like a sinker, but it drops like crazy. It's nuts, and it's 95, so that's pretty good.
have you tinkered around with one or even a kick change? I feel like that's also in vogue.
Yeah, that's like the big thing right now. I haven't really changed my arsenal too much. I'm trying to work on a sweeper a lot more this year, but for me, it's all about the fastball. Number one, that's I'm going to throw my fastball 70% of the time. You're going to get it, and then what can I do to make my fastball more effective with my other pitches? So I have a little cutter that I'm always usually able to land in the zone, and then now I'm working on a new type of slider sweeper that I think I can get more swing and miss on.
With that low arm slot, a sweeper is probably like got a lot of horizontal to it too,
Yeah,
right?
moves a lot, and it's sometimes hard to control. So we're working on that a lot right now. That's my
Is it
main project.
Are you trying to drop it in for strikes more? Because I'm assuming you could probably get some good chases out of it, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that, and I have to drop it in so I can get chases. Because a lot of guys, if I'm not landing it, then as soon as they see the spin, it doesn't matter. They just take it. It doesn't matter if they think it's going to be a strike or not. They'll just take if it's not on the report that I can throw it over the plate. So for me, it starts with throwing it over the plate and then getting that swing and miss late in the count.
Something I read that I've always wanted to ask about is like I think maybe it was an article about you, but you said the Rays catchers they set up middle,
Yeah,
and that's been a big thing for you.
yeah.
Do not all catchers do that? And what is it about middle setup that works well for you?
They just sit in the middle of the plate, put the glove right there, and they're like throw every pitch down the middle until you get to 2 strikes. Because it's like 95% of the time when you throw a first pitch down the middle, you're going to get a positive result. You're either going to get a called strike, swing strike, foul ball, ball and play out. Like they only get a hit 5% of the time when you throw that first pitch down the middle. So if you can get ahead and stay ahead, obviously, if you're ahead in the count, the opponent batting average and on base percentage goes down. So it's all about getting ahead and staying ahead, which is kind of like the story of my whole career. If I get ahead, I usually do pretty good. So I'm like, wow, this strategy is something I can get behind. So I'll just throw everything down the middle. So, and there's not a lot of Greg Maddoxes out there that can just throw it on the outside corner whenever they want to, right? So if I throw one on the outside corner, like, be like, oh, that was a perfect pitch. It was probably an accident. I was probably trying to throw it down the middle. So,
I love this conversation because I've had it before with some pitchers where it's like fastballs down the middle, they don't get hit as much as you would think.
no,
It's
they don't.
counterintuitive.
Yes, they don't. For me, honestly, fastballs at the bottom of the zone get hit more than fastballs down the middle. Probably way more.
Why
Which
is that?
I don't know. I think the more height my fastball is, like in the zone, it's tougher to hit because a lot of hitters have to, when your hands are up here, you have to go down to get the ball. So naturally, when you swing down, that low pitch is easier to get to. So I think for me, a guy who carries the ball, it's going to be more effective at the top and middle of the zone than it is at the bottom.
Does that help cut down on the walk rates too? Set it up middle, and thinking that part of the plate.
Yeah, for sure. Like with the Mets, my walk rate was like 14% before I got traded. And then after I got traded, it was 3% last year. Yeah, so it just goes down. It's the magnet zone. That's what I call it. The
I'm going to
balls.
steal that phrase. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this year it needs to be a little bit better. Not a great start to the zone, but I need to. I'll pick it up. I'm not really worried about
I like that. All right. I said a couple last things for you. Playing in Durham now, like the guys behind you are insane. Like, how much fun is it when you have Carson Williams and Chandler Simpson run around getting balls for you?
that. Yeah, you don't really have to work too hard when those guys are back there because like I've had like already this year. My defense has made some insane plays when I've been pitching. I'm like, dude, I could get used to this. It's like playing with a major league defense behind you and in front of you. Piper catching too. He's really good back there. But yeah, Carson's actually my roommate. He's an unbelievable defender, great hitter. Obviously, he's one of the highly ranked prospects in the game for a reason. And then Chandler, my favorite thing to do at the field is to just watch Chandler play baseball because it's just so fun to watch. Like, because he plays so different from everybody else. He's not trying to hit homers. He's just trying to get to first base any way he can and then wreak havoc. And then Chandler is so fun to watch, and I really enjoy playing with him. Like when I got to Montgomery last year, dude, and those guys were behind us, I'm like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen. And we won like every series I was there. It was, I mean, it's so fun playing with these guys and just winning all the time. So
I think it was The Athletic did a big write up about Chandler, just like how freaking fast he is. Like, have you ever seen anybody that like beats out like weak dribblers and like hits to the second baseman he beats out somehow?
it's insane. I've never seen it. I don't think I ever will see it again. He's the fastest person I've ever seen in my life. Football, baseball, but he is the fastest. It's unbelievable what he does on a day to day basis. And like they know he's going to steal, and he still steals it. It's unbelievable.
That's well, going back to like your thing. Have you been able to cut down on the guys stealing on you? Because your delivery is pretty like leggy, and there's a lot of stuff flying around. Like,
Yeah, my biggest key for that is don't let them get to first base. But if they do, then yeah, I've gotten better at like obviously my delivery is going to be a lot longer when there's nobody on base, but when there's runner on first base, I've gotten better at being quick to the plate. But I don't know if I could keep Chandler from stealing. That's pretty much impossible. So
get 100 steals or something. Like
do
this
what?
guy, he has like 100 steals. I feel like every single year.
Yeah, he had 104 last
Yep.
year. He's already 8 for 8 this year, and we just started. So I asked him what his goal was the other day. He was like, I was like, you going for 100 again? He's like, I'm trying to be perfect. I'm like, yeah, that would be pretty impressive. So if he does that, I'll be really impressed. So yeah, that's the fastest man in baseball right there.
I can't wait to watch him steal bags in the show. Um, so I live in DC, big Nats guy. Can
Mhm.
you, in one word, describe Dylan Cruz's game and how good you think he'll be?
Dylan is Dylan's a superstar, but he's a better person than he is a baseball player. That is the thing. I think that's the ultimate compliment. Is Dylan Cruz is obviously the great baseball player, and he's going to be a great baseball player for years to come. But I think the way he is off the field is 100 times more impressive than the way he is on the field. That's what I'll tell you for that.
It's the best. It's so exciting. And him and James Wood, DC. It's just like
Guys
it's a
basically
fun time.
minor leagues a lot. It's not fun. Those guys are really good.
You faced James Wood in the minor leagues.
It's James Wood. I faced Dylan. Faced Jacob Young. Faced Trey Lipscomb. I faced all those guys when I was with the Mets all the time.
What is it hard throwing to James Wood when he's 6'7"? Like I feel like he can cover all parts of the plate.
Pitching to him, yes, is hard because he's really good, but throwing it in the strike zone is probably a little bit more easier because he's bigger. So yeah, but yeah, he's probably one of, if not the best hitter I've ever faced.
Opposite field, just launching stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, he
Um,
his inside pitches to the opposite field.
yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
My last question is, so I read this and the big thing about you was just like you had to, we talked about this earlier. You had to pay your own way. You had to, grind and come up through that way. When you worked at the Olive Garden, because I'm from a rural part of Maryland where that was the fanciest restaurant I had been to for an embarrassing number of years.
Yeah.
What was your go-to like meal you crush in the back there?
Lasagna and shrimp Alfredo. I had those pretty consistently all the time, and then I would obviously eat the breadsticks all the time. They're pretty.
Free breadsticks.
Yeah, I would bring them home to my JUCO teammates all the time, and they'd freak out. They loved them, so that was pretty cool.
It's the best. The portion sizes are generous. It's just
Yeah,
it's a good meal.
yeah, exactly, dude. I love it. I still go there. I really enjoy it. I don't. People will be like, "Shit, you're going there." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's cheap and it's good and fills me up."
Man, you wouldn't like living in a big city like DC because there's no chain restaurants here.
Oh, I
So
lived in Brooklyn, dude, in High A, and I know there are no chain restaurants there.
no chains, all local mom and pop, which is great. It's got 5 stars on Google, whatever. But like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to go to a Chili's.
that's exactly right, dude.
Just
Big Chili's fan as well.
man. Well, dude, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for carving out a little bit of your Monday off time for me. Rooting for you. Hopefully, I'll get down to a Bulls game and say hey to you in person. But
Thank
you're the man. Thank you so much.
you for having me, man. I appreciate it.